Thank you.
Did
Well,
it come out okay?
what,
I think it did. I
podcast?
think the best I could do.
Podcast is sweet, dude.
And you better understand it now, right?
Did you see what
Yes,
Kevin
I
just said?
much better understand it.
It's kind of fun, you got to admit.
See what Kevin just said? Right after I got the Elgato, they finally, Sony released their webcam utility for their cameras to use it on Mac.
Oh. Yeah,
Finally.
but you know what? Here's the thing, though. The Elgato will actually, I don't care what anybody says, the Elgato will work better.
Really?
Yeah.
How come?
Because it's hardware encoding it.
It's meant for doing exactly what it's doing now.
And it's doing it. If you use the USB software, it's going to be a resource where it's encoding your video signal into H.264 on your computer.
Gotcha.
And so that's going to be more resources on a computer that's already trying to stream and do everything else.
What up, chat?
Hey,
What guys,
up, chat.
Who's here?
Hello, everyone.
It's really weird. The normal window doesn't show me the chat anymore.
Yo, Christian,
you gotta
what's
press
up,
the
man?
thing at the top right. You can slide it out, Steve. Top right of the screen, it's like a little arrow with a line.
Yeah, I don't even see that, and I'm full screen. Oh, no, I have to go huge.
What up,
I see it
What
now.
up, Parker?
Yeah, never mind. I got it in a separate window.
Everyone.
So
what's up, everybody?
I just want to let you guys know that I started a new Sensor Dust award. If you click it, it's a group one. Connor, you can see what it says.
Cheers?
No.
Oh.
You'll see it at the top. It says 0% raised.
Raised. Shaved his. Oh.
Steve, do you see it?
So fast, yes.
Hold on, let me jump over there.
30 days left. That's gonna.
What did you do? I missed it.
So we can now meet goals as a group, not just solo. And I added one for Connor. So yeah, I got you.
Well, let's just not mention that to the chat. That's all I have to say. It's all good.
Thank you, Nate, for the sensor cleaning. I gotta get a camera here. Go grab one.
Cheers.
Yeah, but if you guys feel like donating some of your sensor dust to Connor's cause, he okayed it and everything, so we're good.
How much sensor dust do you need, Connor?
He needs 50,000 total. The max you can donate every day is 2,000.
So where's the one to give it to him?
It's like if you click the sensor dust thing, it should be at the top. Yeah. It says Connor shaves his head. 30 days left.
You're right. Oh, it's already at 4%.
Oh, there we go.
That was so fast.
And what do we need? 50,000. And max is 2,000.
Yeah, 2,000 a day. Oh wow, this is going way quicker than I anticipated.
Yeah. I'm gonna be bald. I might as well just enjoy this while
Connor
I can.
did agree to this, right?
No, not at all. I just made it before chat stream.
I think it's funnier that way then.
Yeah.
Man.
Connor has to do it though if it says it.
The world says that he has to, yeah.
Yeah.
If the internet says it's a thing, I have to do it. So, Jillian, what's up? And then we lost Adam. It's okay. He went to go get a wig for me.
Yeah. I don't know why that is showing up as selected. That is so weird.
How's everyone doing in chat? How are we all doing?
Who do we got? We got Christian here. We got Julianne here.
We have all the OGs. We have Brendan. We have Parker. Nate. We have Odin. It's only good vibes today. Why are you so tired, Parker? Is it because you're grinding at Walmart still?
God, this.
What up, everyone?
Yo, what up, Rook? Hello.
Happy Sunday.
Good morning.
Yeah, good vibes, everybody. We got one sensor dust. Steve and Connor, I don't know if you guys knew this, but sensor cleaning. Is Indigenous people PC? Can I say that?
Yeah, I believe it is.
Okay, the Indigenous people of America used to clean. What's up, YK? Welcome. Their sensors with corn husk. That's actually how they used to do it.
Really?
Yeah,
Ooh.
so we got it.
Let's
Abduction.
go.
Yes.
India November Kilo is here,
YK,
right?
If you're new, post your portfolio. We'll go over it at the end.
We got Cornish. Wait, am I here? Yeah, I'm here. Okay.
What up, Jared?
Aren't any of us here?
What up, Devin? How's your guys' week? I feel like we talked every day this week, all three of us.
Sure Music, what's up?
Can you guys hear me?
Yo, what's up, Jeremy?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, okay.
And by
I'm
the
just getting
way,
ignored.
in case nobody has noticed it yet, look at Adam's camera
Look at and my audio.
and your audio.
Audio
Adam has
and camera
joined the
upgraded.
professional world.
Can we get a sensor, not sensor dust, but a sensor amount for me just to upgrade all my stuff more than the hair?
Ooh,
We'll upgrade how
thanks for
fast
that
the hair's
sub.
going.
You know what's interesting
Thanks
is
for
that
sub.
mic Adam is using, the pod mic from Rode, is a great mic. And what is it, like $100?
It was $100, but it was sold out everywhere. And the only place I got it was Walmart online shipped it to me. And I just randomly stumbled across a Walmart. And then it was sold out at Walmart the day after. But I went to, not kidding, probably 30 or 40 stores online. And they're all sold out. All of them.
Wow.
It's a great sounding mic. That and a mic stand. You could do a boom or a cheap mic stand.
Yeah.
And an inexpensive interface. Like on the shelf behind me here is my old interface, which is Adam's got a really nice interface. But if you're looking to get into doing this, a little Shure XL X2U is also $99. $200, you're done.
Wow, India, thank you for that.
I want to up my quality.
What'd you say, Connor?
I want to up my quality like that. If Adam didn't buy the last microphone.
Yeah, dude, we'll get you one soon. If you guys get a chance,
I'll get myself one.
I only got this stuff because I did a podcast this week. If you're interested in touring, check it out. Don'tShitOnTheBus.com or DSOTBpodcast.com. Steve helped us with everything.
By the way, it's a fun podcast. I listened to or actually watched most of episode 1 already, and it's good. You're gonna love it.
And Connor edited it all. Good job, Connor.
You got to tell him who's on the podcast with you.
My friend Neil from A Day to Remember. He's pretty cool. He's a really good. He's like, we used to do meet and greets. Well, he did meet and greets. I would photograph them with his band when I toured with them, and it was my favorite part of the day because I would just listen to Neil talk, and he would say the funniest stuff. And I just have videos of him doing meet and greets, Q&As at shows because he would say so many funny things. And yeah, now we're trying to teach, so come hang.
It's a great podcast for anyone. Please do it. Make my tears of happiness.
Yeah, Connor edited everything. So if you like any of it, we got to get you some credit, Connor, like in the captions or something going.
All I want is a hug from you, Neil, and I think that's the only credit I need.
Corona, bro, chill out.
That's socially acceptable to give hugs anymore.
Yeah. If you're on the mailing list,
it's socially acceptable. It's just dangerous.
Is it the equivalent of taking a bullet for someone now? I'll take Corona for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Connor, you made it to the green 6-month badge. You're the only one in chat with a 6-month badge.
Yo, let's go.
Hey,
supporting this
how come I don't have a 6-month badge?
Because you're only a 3-month subscriber, bro. You got 3 months to go.
Oh, I got you.
You've not been paying us since the beginning.
It's okay. You have an emote, Steve.
I do have I have my own emote.
Thanks for the sub, Jer.
Can I make my own emote at some point?
Yo, India with a second gift. Respect. Thank you.
Yo, thank you so much for all the love and the subs, guys.
You want an emote? Yeah, if we get enough subs, I think I get another emote. But I don't have that. We don't,
We really should get an emote for Connor.
Yeah, we should. Wait, Connor helped me with the emotes that we have now, actually.
Yeah. Yours, Steve, was my favorite to make just because Adam's was just getting his egg. Yours was when we had Neil and who else, Adam? It was during that one crazy non-traditional one we did with the guys from A Day to Remember, and we were just going through memory lane, and Steve had the best face for it. This was like, that's where your email's from.
Oh yeah, it's from a video, Steve. Your emote is from
mine is
video. Yeah, it's from a
I just took a screenshot and took it from there.
I'll recreate it.
Oh wait, we may have to recreate the.
Yeah.
All right, well, Connor, you have to go because Kevin's about to hop in.
You have to tell Kevin to tell me to go.
By the way, I just thought of something, Adam. Since you're doing that one with Neil, realizing Alex is into photography, you should try and get a picture of him for this.
Oh yeah, we should do that. Yo, Kevin, we have a new thing we're doing. Are you down to join us? I didn't prep you for it, but
it doesn't involve singing or dancing.
We like to have the guest ask Connor to leave because he has to leave. So if you want to kick him out nicely or mean, however you want.
You can do it however you want.
So, Connor, if you could go get me my 8th cup of coffee and get the heck out of here, that'd be great.
On it. I'll be right there. See you
All right.
guys.
Later. We'll see you in chat.
See you in chat.
I love it.
Wow, that was a good one. I like that one.
That was stylish. That
Yeah,
was good.
Welcome to the bald crew, Kevin.
Thank you. Oh, that's why we kicked him out, because he had hair.
Yeah.
That may change based on the censor desk we're raising.
Yeah, so there's like each channel on Twitch, Kevin, has a thing called like their channel points or their channel currency, and you can name it whatever you want. Like, you know, if you had a painting theme, maybe it would be a paintbrush or paints or something. But ours is sensor dust, so you collect sensor dust while you're on here. And Connor, you can add like a big, usually they're like 100 or 200 or 300, and you can get, you know, you can redeem them for a photo critique or whatever you make. Well, we made a big one that's 50,000 that everybody contribute to, and it's Connor shaves his head.
Nice.
So Connor didn't know we did that, but yeah. Check it out if you guys want to donate to it. I wish I could donate to it, but I'm not allowed. And yeah. How are you?
Good. Sorry.
You don't have to apologize. You getting situated?
Because like I was hearing the stream in the background and everything was on delay. Now I'm trying to get back to our like little Zoom thingy.
Yeah, just put the stream on mute. That's your best way to do it.
Yeah, I totally clicked on it. I'm feeling like a 75-year-old professor who's, you know, like
you're like, hello in there? Hello?
Everything. Yeah. All right.
Okay.
So
which camera do I talk to?
Steve's 75, so be careful.
Yeah, actually, I take your 75 joke very personally because I'm actually 75 and a half.
In human years?
Yo, I want to still
it's cat years.
Sensor dust years.
Can you imagine?
I have 7 of my 9 lives left.
The files are in the computer. Can you imagine being 75 and still telling people your age with halves and quarter years involved? That'd be really funny. I want to start doing that. 31 and a half.
Fractional.
Mute
are you 31 and a half?
Stream. That's a good way to do it.
Are you 31 and a half?
June, July, August, September, October.
He's counting.
Almost.
He had to use his fingers. I love it.
Yeah, dude. Months?
Dude,
I don't
I'm
mess around.
60. I'm 60 Tuesday.
You're 60 on Tuesday?
Yeah.
That means on Wednesday you'll be 60 also.
Well, no, I'll be 60 in a fraction.
Oh. Wow, dude. Happy early birthday. The big
and 1 365th.
I want to look as good as you when I'm 60.
Karate, baby.
Karate?
Yeah.
You're twice as old as me, Steve.
I know. I'm ancient.
Wow.
Thank you, Jer.
Wow. Yeah, everybody give Steve a happy birthday. We'll sing you happy birthday.
Yeah, yours is by choice. Mine is not by choice.
Yours is cheaper. What about you, Kevin? Are you by choice shaving your head, or are you balding? Well, you have little hair.
Yeah, I went the bald zone. I was losing my hair. Yeah.
Yo, it's actually kind of cool. Kevin and I have known each other for a long time, Steve, because Kevin used to work at Nick Software.
Did you?
Yeah.
What did you do for Nick?
I was on the product development team, so I was officially a product specialist, but it was primarily the head guy, Josh Haftel, who's now like the head of Lightroom Mobile. He may have taken over all of Lightroom now. Myself, and then one other guy, Matt Cummins, on the product development side of all of the applications.
So you're talking well before Google had it.
Oh yeah,
correct. Yeah.
That's when they all got they all got the boot, right? Well, not the boot. They downsized them and then really downsized them and then.
I'm so glad when DxO took it over and actually started updating it and doing stuff with it. I was so glad because still it's my favorite plugins.
Yeah, it's exciting to go back and play with them. I still haven't done like the most recent updates, but even the old outdated ones from when Google had it still run, which is nice.
Actually, I had a lot of Photoshop issues with some of the plugins until DxO bought it. Yeah, there was a lot of compatibility issues with newer Photoshop. And that was, people got mad that DxO wanted to charge for it. But one of the things they just did at first was fix some of the code to work.
Right.
That's cool.
So
yeah, there's
great
been
software.
a lot of background compatibility stuff that goes on when nobody's doing maintenance for a few years when Google let it. Yeah. Got to weed the garden.
Yeah. it's a good program. I just wish Google never entered the picture, and then
Yeah.
because they were based literally like 1 mile from where I lived in. I used to ride my bike there to Nick Software and hang out, and it was awesome. And it's such good. I don't know. It's good software. But yeah. Well, Steve, what do you think about the Raw this week?
I love the Raw this week.
Pretty freaky, Kevin. You're so good at details.
Yeah, I mean, oh, you don't have me turned on to where I can share screen, by the way.
Oh, I'll turn it on. Go
Try
for
it again. Okay. There we go. Yeah, look at that
See
thing.
if I can bring up our stream.
Look at the fog. Look at the details in the front. This exposure is spot on.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. Well done. And I don't know if you want to pull up some of his work, Steve, while we talk. But
I will.
do that.
I definitely will.
It was very crispy. That's a good word, crispy. It was a crispy photo, Kevin. Wow.
Thanks.
Yo, actually, another sweet brag is, so Kevin used to have a situation in San Diego where he had access to a very large printer. Kevin, do you want to specify how large this printer was?
Super large. That's a specific, right?
Yeah.
It was the Canon IPF 6300, so it would print up to like 44-inch wide rolls.
That's a large for. That's almost like a plotter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So I told Adam that we'd have to do a print. So how big was it? Like 60 inches
The
tall?
size of my wall.
Yeah.
It ran 44 inches wide, and then down the whole length of my wall, he printed me a giant waterfall. And that's when I learned what retouching a large print consisted of, because Kevin had to go in and he edited it so perfectly because you would notice anything on it. And he did that, and then from there, it was on my wall for a while, and then I suffered some water damage because my whole house flooded with steam. It was not my fault, unfortunately, because it was one of my very prized possessions. It was very special to me. And Kevin's editing style is immaculate. What were you going to say, Kevin?
Thanks. There was a bummer when you sent me the message. I forget what it was specifically, but it sounded like you had a pretty rough day that day.
Yeah, it was a rough few weeks. The worst part was when I was out on tour and I told my management company, I was like, hey, are my hard drives okay? They're like, they were like, I told them, I was like, well, my hard drives were out and, I don't want them to get ruined. And they sent me like an emoji response. And I was like, clearly you don't understand what my hard drives are. It's a big deal to have water damage to my hard drives. Luckily, I had everything safe. But yeah, it was like a disaster.
Yeah, you had a whole setup for your hard drives. I think, like, if I remember right, you had the like anti-static foam.
Yeah, I have
things that you'd put them in, like you'd pull out the filing cabinet tray. It was pretty impressive to see all that.
Thank you. Yeah, a lot of files from touring.
Yeah, I'm glad, of all the things that could have been ruined and kept safe, the print was still, much better option to get ruined.
Yeah, hopefully we'll do one again in the future. Well, now you're out in the East. Dude, so Kevin recently moved out to the East Coast. He was in San Diego. And now he lives in the Adirondack. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah, Adirondack Mountains. And there's a chair, by the way, if you've never heard of an Adirondack chair. That's from the Adirondacks.
And thank God Kevin lives there now, because I feel like he's returned home. I feel like...
Yeah.
How do you like it? How are you liking it?
It's really exciting to get back to the type of nature that's here. And it's just been fulfilling, refreshing, all that stuff. But the cold times are coming, and winter is coming. I'm not a Game of Thrones fan, just because I haven't had the time to get into it. But yeah, winter's coming, and it's cold and it's harsh here. It's it's rough.
So you shoot landscapes. How did you get into doing this architecture that we're looking at right now? We're looking at your exteriors. How do you get hired for that? Like, what's your job? And
actually, let me piggyback on that. Were you doing this back when you were at Nick too, or is this a new thing since you moved?
Good questions that I have to think about the answers to.
That's exactly what we want.
Yes, interview working.
So when I was going to photo school at RIT, I took an architectural photography class. So I guess that's where it kind of started. Then when I was at Nick Software, I don't think I was really shooting architecture in San Diego when I was working for Nick, but when I went out freelance, at some point, I guess I got back to it. And I don't, I think it all started with that first house that you saw at the top. It wasn't those photos, but that house I had access to. That was one of my clients.
Dude, the house is insane.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
yeah,
then
I mean, let me just zoom in on what you're seeing off that balcony. Where is this?
It's on the
this is in La Jolla, California.
Wow. Yeah.
And actually, if you
dream.
click on that, it should go full screen, I believe.
Wow.
Or maybe I didn't upload a large file. So eventually that home.
Connor said, how much rent for one night? How much sense?
Yeah, that's beyond my scope. Excuse me.
You're good.
Hang on.
Water break. I'll take one too. Let's go.
Here we go. Cheers, everybody.
Everybody cheers your drink.
Product placement.
Yeah. He's drinking Powerade, Steve. How do you feel about that?
That's fine with me, man. Powerade, good. I'm more of a Gatorade guy, but that's all right. Or in my case.
Excuse me. I think I'm back to life.
Is this, by the way, is this the same house?
Yeah.
Correct.
Wow.
So
wow.
These photos were shot. They actually added that patio on or extended it out. And these photos were shot for the interior designer that chose the furniture with the homeowner and
gotcha.
all of that. That was a design firm out of Chicago. And then it just kind of rolled into there, working with her realtor. And then things just kind of ballooned out.
Those first 6 are all the same house, right? Those are all the same one.
1, 2, 3. Yes, correct.
Yeah, Steve, you see that one on the bottom left? Like, look at that view. They literally have a theater view, other left. They have a theater view of the ocean.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Well, and look at the house itself, 2 stories of glass.
Who lives there? What's her Instagram? I'm trying to.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to have dinner.
I actually don't know who lives there now, but that recently sold within the past year.
Wow.
Is this it too?
Yeah.
Correct. That was before the patio remodel. So they used to just have a awning that came out like a cloth awning, and they decided that they wanted to go with a full-on, like architect designed structural.
So 4.5 million sensor dust. 5. Yes, Connor. $5.4 million in sensor dust. Oh, this is your work is so.
But you, yeah, I was just gonna say it.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, I've seen a good amount of architectural photos.
Dude, he's a scientist.
You do everything right.
Thank you. That's rewarding to hear. Thank you so much.
I mean,
and it actually matters from Steve because he'll notice that you do something wrong. I don't know.
I have things I'll say later as we get into it. Yeah, definitely.
His palms are sweating. Oh, thanks for the subscribe, Ransom. What up? Already? Oh, India, stop gifting. Thank you so much. You don't have to do that. I appreciate you so much.
It's so pretty.
By the way, that's straight out of my window.
Wait, is it not popping up on Steam? Is that the whole shot?
From my apartment right now.
That's supposed to. Okay.
That's what you see out of your window?
Yeah. Yep. So that mountain that's
was the whole shot.
On the right side of that photo with the tree, that's Mount Marcy, and that's the highest mountain in New York State, which right now it has snow on it. If that puts into context the weather here.
And where's this?
That's about a 10 to 15 minute drive away.
He's
so
in the
that
thick of
is
it.
called Heart Lake. and I'm standing on Mount Joe, which is like a 700-foot elevation climb. So small for this area, but Algonquin is the mountain that you see in the dead center, and its elevation is somewhere over 4,000 feet.
Yo, usually it doesn't matter. I feel like what people are shooting with, like their gear, I feel like it really matters for you. What camera are you using? And only reason is because I feel like you use every part of your camera very intentionally. It's not
That's
like a concert
that's
photography.
that's
You know
a
what I
good
mean?
point, Adam.
Yeah,
That's a
it's
really
like,
good point.
what
It's
camera
almost
are you using?
like we push our gear to the extreme in live music, and he is hands down pushing the extremes of capturing buildings
Perfection.
and landscapes.
Yeah. What are you
Yeah,
shooting on these days?
I never really thought about it that way. But so I'm shooting with the Sony A7R Mark III for a
Okay.
camera. But I'm almost always shooting on a tripod. And
Okay.
that allows me to maximize the detail. Like earlier, Adam, you were saying the crispiness.
Mm-hmm. We
I'm
like the crispy
almost
in chat.
always, yeah, I'm always trying to get maximum depth of field. So I lock it down on a tripod. I'm using like a shutter release so that I'm not introducing any vibrations to the camera.
Are you doing mirror? Oh, you're on mirrorless though, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, so I'm shooting electronic shutter when possible so that there's no mechanics inside. Yeah, good point. What else? Usually focus stacking so that if
Aha.
an image does get to go to large print, it holds up better.
Do you want to TLDR focus stacking for people who don't know what it is real fast? Like tell them what it is.
Yeah. So it's like composing your image and you set your focus to like one point and you take a shot. And then as you zoom into 100%, you'll notice sections in the foreground are slightly blurry or maybe really blurry.
Okay.
So you change your focus to there and you take another shot and you do it in like increments. So I'll do foreground, maybe quarter ground, mid ground, 3/4, and then all the way back onto the mountains. And then I'll merge them together after the fact so that it's crispy all the way through.
And a good example for that is like my friend Don Komarechka, who's a macro photographer, and he photographs snowflakes handheld. So on an individual snowflake, he might take 240 shots and use 90 of them. And they're just 90 layers in Photoshop where he's masking to get that focus to go all the way through.
He's a freak, Kevin. You'd enjoy this photographer.
Yeah, I definitely want to check out his work.
Yeah, only 90 shots. Oh, just 90?
Oh, you should. Don is a macro genius. It's doncom.ca. He's in Canada, or skycrystals.ca is his snowflake site. But it's interesting because I don't know of a lot of people that are doing focus stacking for landscape photography, right? Most people go to landscape photography and they'll use, F16, Sunny 16 rule or something like that, and they'll do enough depth of field based on their lens and their camera settings. I don't know that I've ever seen anybody really do that. How many shots are you stacking?
All depends upon the scene, but probably usually a minimum of 3. Now, if I'm really close to the ground and the elements that are in the front part of the shot are really close to the lens, then you're doing quite a bit more. I think so the latest, so the R5 and R6 include like a focus stacking setting, as well as the Z6 and Z7 from Nikon.
Steve, zoom in a little.
I'm keep losing my mouse, which is really kind of weird.
Oh, wow.
It's disconnecting and reconnecting constantly.
You're all good. Maybe I wish I could do it. Keep going. Sorry.
Some people take it a step further and get really technical, and they'll shoot landscapes with tilt shift lenses. So they will tilt the front of the lens to employ what's called shine flu, which is what 4x5 and 8x10 field cameras can do.
Right.
And what that does is it changes the plane of focus So it will minimize the number of focus stack shots that you have to do. So
There you
they'll
go, Steve.
shoot
Nice.
with like Canon's 24mm tilt shift lens.
And somebody in chat had a question. They want to know, is it superior to hyperfocal like f/22? And I actually don't know the term hyperfocal. What does that mean? A very
Hyperfocal
Yeah.
distance, yeah.
okay.
Yeah,
Teach me,
so
Tim.
hyperfocal is referencing a general scale of if you're at a certain f-stop, it gives you kind of a range of, all right, from this distance to this distance away from the camera, things should be in relative focus. Now that was kind of implemented back in the 35mm film days. But when it gets into digital and 42 megapixels, it kind of goes out the window because the accepted in focus range doesn't factor in like pixel peeping in 100%. So I don't
Gotcha.
ever go above f8, maybe sometimes f11, because I want to shoot at the sharpest, highest resolving aperture for my lens.
Right.
Because when you go to those smaller f-stops like f11, 16, f22, you enter in diffraction, which is the spreading out of light as it passes through that narrow hole. And
Yo,
that will soften the detail.
The stuff I learned from you in one sentence is insane. Steve,
Yeah,
you know all this
going
stuff,
too
huh?
far out.
But Kevin is sharing stuff that if people do want to get serious can really be handy to know.
It's so
if
good.
you understand when you shrink your aperture down and you go f/22,
yeah.
well, but your lens and your elements are this big and it has to spread out and reassemble itself going through 13 elements back onto a 35mm size sensor. That much light bending affects things like chromatic aberrations or softness at the edges. So understanding how your lenses work, it doesn't mean don't do it.
Yeah.
It just means understand the tool that you're working for. You can at times, like we said earlier, help you push your gear to the limit.
Yeah.
And India says they're learning a lot this stream already. So thank you, Kevin. And keep going. Whatever you're going to say it.
Awesome. So Steve was just talking about, make use of that F22. And F22 can create some amazing sun stars. And I often forget about that because I'm so focused of like, stay right on F8 because you need it to be as sharp as possible. So what I'll do sometimes is I'll shoot my scene at F8 with the focus stacking, and then I will jump the aperture to f/22 to get a sunburst, and then I'll composite that in later to add extra appeal to the image.
And that's kind of the key. By knowing what you're doing, if you know that 22 is going to give you a more of a starburst type effect than an f8, just knowing it's there. And by the way, this is the entry level to compositing, right? If you're not great at compositing, composite the same picture.
That's a good point.
Right? Just composite. That's how people do Milky Way shots. If you really do a long exposure for a Milky Way shot, I had one on a critique show I did the other day, and gorgeous star trails. And in Banff, Canada, or actually Lake Louise Chateau in Banff National Park in Canada, they had the hotel, but they shot it all, it appeared as one shot because the lights inside the hotel were completely blown out and overexposed. But if you shot that as two shots, it's the same shot. You just substitute the sky, but the hotel is still in focus and still exposed properly. That's the easiest way to learn compositing.
Yeah. And I think that also touches on the number one question that I often get, and I'm sure everybody does, of, is this photoshopped? And there's many parts to that answer, but number one is I preface it with, your camera cannot see everything that your eyes and your mind can see in a given scene. So we have to do things like compositing to recreate what we see. And then I also say, I'm creating something, and I have no problem taking it to something different than simply recording what was right in front of me. But yeah, like Steve was saying, you have to capture those two different shots in that nighttime scene, because that's where I see it, bounce out the light. As good
Hmm.
as the cameras are with 15 stops of dynamic range, it still can't touch what our brain and our eye can process real time.
which is closer to the low 20s in dynamic range. Is I have people say to me all the
Wow.
time, I don't like HDR, to which my response is, but yet you're probably one of the people that are clamoring for an HDR TV. So you understand that HDR enables you to
TVs are so
see
last year.
more realistic dynamic range. It's just when somebody takes it to a weird art point.
Mm-hmm.
But really, multiple shots is what you do in HDR. You take one to properly capture the highlights and one to properly capture the shadows and one in between to let you blend those two together.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be weird,
Guys,
crazy art.
you know
Over
when somebody
processed,
says,
yeah.
"Is this photoshopped?" To me, the compositing, the focus stacking, and almost like the normal like white balance hue saturation and stuff, that almost doesn't count as Photoshop to me anymore. That just counts as like making the image a little bit more accurate. Photoshop to me is like when you're doing something that is almost unbelievable. I don't know where you guys draw the line, but what do you guys think?
Ooh,
Well,
that's like a
you go
8-hour
ahead first,
discussion.
Kevin. You're the guest because I have thoughts too on that. Yeah.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off there. Sorry.
No, you
Um,
didn't. You're good.
yeah, that's a really loaded question.
Yeah.
I think everybody would have a
Loaded
different answer
photography
to
question.
it.
Let's go.
Yeah, it comes down to what you were saying, Adam, of you are fixing certain things that are inherent deficiencies of the cameras and the lenses. So speaking about white balance, you're adjusting that after the fact. But if you're removing things, I don't know. That's a good question. Steve, what do you think? Like, even in the film days, Ansel Adams was retouching out birds that were passing through his scene
Yeah.
because he called them worms of the sky.
Well,
I never even knew about that. That's pretty
I have
funny.
mentioned on here before to go look up. You can find it easily. The old negatives for Muhammad Ali punching at the screen, and you'll see the markings of the photographer on these
Mhm.
negatives where they're saying what they're going to do in the darkroom, and it's intense. There's one photo and 50 different markings on there of the way they want to dodge and burn this thing in a traditional darkroom.
Mhm.
So the idea that Photoshop only exists since we moved digital is nuts. They were Photoshopping it in a darkroom, but here's my thing. And this is what goes to photojournalism to me. When you change your lens, you've made a decision on what that picture is going to be, right? If I'm in a war zone and I'm shooting a picture with a 24 millimeter and I
Steve's in a
switch
war
to a
zone.
200 millimeter, I've chosen to leave something out. And what I'm leaving out or what I'm including in that shot is going to change how you see that story. And it's the exact same thing here. Your camera cannot capture the real story. It literally is against the laws of the physics that we have today to capture what
Against
you
the
can
physics
see. And so
laws.
all you're doing is just aiding yourself in getting real if you want it, or beyond real if you want it. It's art. It's your art.
Yeah. And when you study the history of photography, manipulation has been at its inception,
Yes.
all the way back
Yeah.
into the
It's part of it.
1800s.
It's
Yeah.
part of it.
And
It's the
there,
sensor. Some people choose a crop sensor. That changes your photo.
yeah.
Yeah, and I do agree. I have to say I agree with Connor, and that is that we need Thanos to come in and break the camera laws for us.
So another quick story on that is Migrant Mother, the famous photo of the mom and her two kids.
Was that
Who
during the
was the?
Depression or that one?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
The photographer was it? I'm not even gonna take a stab at it because I'm gonna get it wrong. But she was called out by, maybe it was Stieglitz or whoever her editor was, because either she retouched out a thumb in the picture or the editor did. I forget the story, but yeah, there was a whole thing about that. So even iconic images like the Muhammad Ali and Migrant Mother, there's all a background story to, even after the image is captured, of trying to remove distractions or how do I want to put this, to help the viewer focus in a way that the photographer saw it when they captured it. Because when you have a scene in front of you, there are certain things that you focus on. But then when you have a still image and your eye has the ability to endlessly wander around it, we get distracted by many things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question, Adam, as to at what point is it Photoshop or manipulation, but there you go.
I have a
Yep.
feeling that we are going to go in some deep dives and get lost so far, especially now that like Steve kind of takes over. Like I feel like you guys are just gonna be like, I'm excited to sit back and watch because Steve takes over for this behind the shot part, and yeah, it's there's a lot of information here. Like the things you guys are talking about, sometimes I just don't even know the vocabulary to engage in them, and it's great. I'm all ears, so this is awesome. Steve, yeah, so
I
Steve,
actually tried pulling up those old negatives too, real quick, and I couldn't find them really quick. So the first thing I want to go to with Kevin
Chat
is
GBD says, "Holy shit, 3 Bezoses."
the first thing I want to go to is your about page, because your about page, and there's an interesting video up there, paralysis and photography, because you overcame quadriplegia, which is listed on here. I'm not sharing anything that's too private. You clearly put it on your about page, and you refocus that energy to become, really honestly,
He's a badass,
fantastic artist, right?
Thank you.
What's interesting to me is this line under accolades. You have a Bachelor of Fine Arts in Commercial Photography from RIT, Rochester Institute of Technology. And so I kind of want to start there. In today's day and age where everybody's got a camera in their pocket, and a lot of people like me are going, yeah, I'm getting the 12 Pro Max because now it's 68 millimeters on the zoom and it uses LiDAR for autofocus assist, which to me is the killer feature, actually. So many people are doing this without a formal education. And that's great. I'm curious, as somebody who has a degree in commercial photography, where do you see that line? So if you were advising somebody, I think it's always great if somebody can go get that education. For some people, it's not right for them. Those are both true statements. But for you having that degree, what do you think? How do you think that changes your photographer mind? I don't know what I'm saying. Hope that made sense.
Yeah. No, it does. I don't know how it changes my aspect that I go, like when I get into shooting, but there's definitely
Good
pros
question,
and cons to both realms or both routes that you want to go. I absolutely despise the education loans that I have that weigh me down financially. But I made a lot of awesome connections at photo school. And one of the things that photo school helps, let me backpedal.
Okay.
There's, in this day and age, there's so much phenomenal free education online that you can become an amazing photographer without spending a dime at a formal school. But having professors who know this craft and trade and art form give you a clear path in direction. You are given knowledge and information from trusted sources, and what I see a lot online, even though there's some amazing education, if you don't know the foundations, you don't know how to interpret, well, is this guy
Right.
the correct answer or is that person?
Yeah. They don't have the
So
tools.
it's right. So you might not know what is the correct way to go. But that also might be an advantage too, because I mean, RIT is arts focused and it's technical focused. And I tended to gravitate towards the technical aspect.
No way.
And there's a lot of things that
No way. Kevin.
there's a lot of things that I wish I could unlearn because I'm too rigid in my own mind in many ways.
Wow.
And I don't know, like great things can come from both avenues. But man, do I hate it when I watch like someone's video and they put out false information or,
Right.
you know, just there's a lot of falsehoods that are perpetuated simply because they heard it from somebody else and heard it from, and then it becomes like a trusted thing, which is wrong. And that's, I don't know.
And it's you touched on two things there that are fascinating to me. One,
Steve, after you go, I gotta go.
You go first if you want.
I just want to ask a quick question, like a fun fact question. Kevin, is there anything out there that you think is an example of that you see spread quite frequently? Like maybe something that's false that you know is false, but everybody always says it. You know, is it? I don't know. The Mandela effect, is that kind of one? Is this kind of falling in that category?
Let's jump over to Steve because I'm drawing a block.
I've got one. Almost everything you see on the internet on copyright.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Almost everything that you see on the internet on copyright are people that are regurgitating something that they read in a blog post that was written by somebody who regurgitated it, who was written by somebody who's not a lawyer.
It was written by somebody who wanted good SEO.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
And that's really what it was, is a lot of it's just clickbait.
Yeah.
You touched on two things that were interesting. And that is, it drives you nuts when you see that misinformation, but at some point you wish you could unlearn things because you're too rigid. I've known of restaurants who would not hire a bartender that had experience because they came in with that mindset of, no, I make a Manhattan this way. They're like, well, no, but we don't do it that way.
Yeah, they've already been molded.
Exactly. So to me, that's huge, that you can learn all of this, but you also have to be open to what your voice is. It's okay to lean. You lent towards the technical side. It's okay to lean towards that artistic side. But the other thing that you said was trusted source, which I can't stress enough, right? Somebody made a comment in the chat as you were talking that they're getting their degree from YouTube University, which is great. There's great educational stuff on YouTube, on Flern, on Kelby One, on Creative Live. There is really, somebody just said, preach it, Steve. I don't mean it to sound that way. I really don't. But there's great content out there. The problem is when you self-teach yourself, you only know to look up and find what you kind of already know.
Yeah, you can't reach outside you don't know about the stuff that you don't know.
Right. And so having somebody that's an instructor, even on YouTube, that's good, but at least in a formal education way, they're generally going to know to do this, say something to you that you would have never thought to look up. And I'm going to go to your work for this, and we'll get into the raw shot for today. So when I first looked at your website, I immediately saw your architecture stuff, because architecture photography done correctly is super hard.
It's art.
It's art. And the problem is, based on the angle you point any lens, you're going to have distortions. So a lot of people will just, with a normal lens, they'll go shoot architecture, and then they will try to true the walls to be straight, but there's still a table that looks distorted, right? In looking at your architecture photography, two things strike me that you do in every shot. Number one, all your lines, horizontal and vertical, are true. That's worth a fortune to me if I'm a commercial client. But more than that is, you have some really, really difficult shots here, and they're all exposed perfectly. I mean perfectly. This shot of the house and the pool on the right here,
Yeah, how in depth did you go editing that, Kevin?
Yeah.
Be honest.
And
how many
did you
layers
use a
is that?
polarizing filter to cut down on any reflections or anything? Because I can see the bottom of the
Is it a
frickin'
10-hour edit?
That one definitely has a lot going on in it. I don't remember. This was like 2013, 14 era.
Okay.
But yeah, I stripped in exposures for the interior. There was a lot of light balancing going on outside from mostly different frames. I don't think I had any. I may have had a light on the inside hitting that ceiling. But yeah, I'll
he's
have to
using a
pull up that
strobe too.
file.
Wow.
I'll have to pull up that file to take a look at the layers, but it was tough. Those shadows were deep. And what I was trying to do was capture the warmth of that sunrise. But by the time the shadows leave, the lights cooled quite a bit. But yeah, thank you for pointing that out, Steve. That was a tough shot.
And look at this one. I can see the blinds. I can see inside that window. Well, I could until it just jumped. But I can see inside this window here.
What is
I can see how the blinds are open. I can even see a ceiling light over on the right-hand full height window. And that's how it's done. That's how your eye would see it. And you may be doing it with multiple exposures,
Did you
which
fix
then
the lawn
brings
there?
us to this.
Sorry. The lawn looked really good. I don't know if it was the lawnmower or it was Kevin.
Oh,
yeah, the lawn really does look good.
I retouched the crap out of that lawn.
Did you really?
I knew it.
Oh yeah, I hate things like that.
Oh my God, get out of here.
I'm gonna find it. I'm gonna find clone tracks.
Your horizon's off.
And you may, because this was actually shot when I was in photo school in taking that architectural class.
Wow.
This was shot with like the original 5D with Canon's first 24mm tilt shift. So yeah, those edges get really soft really fast. But I always liked the light in it.
And the light is what I want to touch on when we get to the raw for today, because this image is a perfect example. The sky in this image from left to right, I would honestly say 80% of photographers out there that are actual working pros couldn't capture that. The fact that the left is warm, the right gets cooler, there's no blowing highlights. You've got highlights. You've got clear sun and shade and shadows on the building in a beautiful way, like how soft the tree shadow is on the left side of the building. But there's detail in the tree shadows on the right. I think there's a lot of pros who couldn't shoot this. And again, true line. So really quick, before I get into the raw, for those people that heard you say tilt shift, explain to people what a tilt shift lens is.
Okay. A tilt shift lens. All right.
It's the wedding thing.
The light. The wedding thing?
I don't know. It's when you take your lens off and move it around to make the wedding photos look good.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
So when light passes through your lens, it then projects an image circle, let's say like this, so that your sensor on the inside, it goes around your sensor. Well, a tilt shift lens is technically like a medium format lens. Okay. Its projection circle is larger, and you can push, rise or fall the front part of the lens, or turn it so it shifts left and right, and that allows you to either get a wider field of view, or it allows you to keep your verticals straight and parallel so that the building doesn't look like it's falling back or coming at you as you point up and down. So it allows you to keep the back of your camera perpendicular to the ground at a 90-degree angle so that your parallel lines don't shift. And then as you raise the front lens, it allows you to see more of the ceiling, or it allows you to see more of the floor without actually having to tilt your camera down.
Which is what causes distortion.
Correct.
And the way I always look at it is if you've ever done Command T in Photoshop and transformed something, you can right click those handles or inside and say perspective. And really that's what a tilt shift does, is let you keep your perspective right by not changing the angle of your sensor, only changing the angle of the lens. But they're expensive as heck. Right? I mean, they're not cheap and they're not easy to learn. Did you struggle to learn tilt shift?
Maybe not, just because of going through the architectural class. We actually started with 4x5 field cameras.
Okay.
Shooting architecture. So that's probably the hardest way to learn architecture. So the same principles applied to tilt shift. But yeah, if you're just starting out with tilt shift, it might be a whole new game for you.
Okay. Which brings us to this. I'm going to start here because
Nice
this
segue
is
we got here. We did it, guys.
Yeah, this is a raw image, and not one clipped highlight, no clipped shadows. Really, you caught the fog. It shows that you shot this at 24 millimeters, ISO 100. There's your f8 at 1/15th of a second. So let's start there.
Steady hands.
You've got you've got this fog. What's making you choose 1/15th?
Just the light level. So this actually is, it might say it in the file name. I believe this is an HDR DNG. So speaking to no clipped highlights and no clipped shadows, I believe I did a merge of 5 different exposures in Lightroom first. And Lightroom, I love the fact that Adobe allows you to take your raw files, your overexposed to your underexposed, merge them together and still allow you that raw data. So that is part of why there are no clipped highlights or shadows in this image.
Okay. So somebody made a comment in the chat earlier that they do 3 to 5 images when you're doing an HDR shot and you know it's going to be HDR.
Mm-hmm.
And cameras can do 3, 5, 7. You could do it manually without using a multiple exposure setting. Do you always do 5? Is there some trigger in your head that makes you go, no, I want more? How do you decide how many?
The histogram. That's a really great question. So in the scene, I'll kind of get my framing and set, and then I look at the histogram. So for the people looking at the projection up there, you can see on the left-hand side, there's a huge spike that's in the shadows. And then over on the right-hand side, you can see we're getting closer to clipping the highlights. So when I look at the scene, I initially look at the histogram and say, okay, where are my spikes and how many exposures do I need? And sometimes I just do a real-time projection on the live view. I'll just crank my shutter speed over. I never change my aperture except for the sun stars. And I'll talk about that a bit later. But I change the shutter speed and say, okay, am I seeing all my highlights here? Okay, let's keep this in mind of what the shutter speed is. And then go back in the other direction. Okay, what point do I want my shadows? And then you'll get a feel for, is this 3 shots? Is this 5 shots? Is it 9? The more you do it.
I mean, I can even turn on show blown highlights, show shadows, and there's just none. So just a great choice. So I'm assuming this is near where you live. Is this Adirondacks?
Yes. Yeah, this is called Connery Pond, and the mountain on the left is Whiteface Mountain, which is the 2-time Olympic ski mountain.
Oh,
Fun
Lake
facts.
Placid?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Fog. Fog can be difficult to capture and look cool.
Yes.
And fog can actually blow out easily too. Any secrets to capturing that? Sometimes you'll get fog in a line, but you've got it actually coming halfway across the lake. and that's subtle detail. Any trick to that?
Man, I wish I knew the trick because I'd employ it every time I go out and shoot. I love fog.
Tell me how to do it.
Ooh, good question. I got to think about this one. You're right. Fog does render really difficult. You'll see here in this scene, I've got a dark background behind it, which helps it stand out. It's kind of like if you look at your hot food sitting on your dinner table, as you walk around the hot food, the steam will become more evident and less evident based upon what's behind it.
Oh yeah.
So if you have a dark object behind it,
Sorry.
or if you have side lighting coming in from the side, it'll illuminate that fog more. And then I think the biggest part for making fog render well is what you do to it in post. And usually I brighten up the fog in post-production by pulling the white slider over on a individual brush selection. Does that answer it?
Yeah, that answers it really well, which then makes
path.
me think, as you've got that fog against the darker mountains, compositionally, what were you thinking as you were standing here?
I was thinking about this S curve in the foreground. The mud wasn't particularly attractive to me, but I liked how it created the S curve of following the shoreline over to the right-hand side of the frame. And then I liked how the clouds kind of took you to the left-hand side. So I liked that swoop and I wanted to play off from it. I also wanted the wide grandiose of those clouds because they were pretty fantastic. So I went as wide as I could. I was shooting with the 24 to 105 millimeter lens. Went to 24 and played around with it. On the left-hand side, I've got the mountains in and I kind of balance the right-hand side. I like to have bumpers, usually on the right-hand and left side of my frame. And
What's
if
a
I've got
bumper?
too large, just a visual stop.
Okay.
So if, I'm trying to think of how to explain it better.
Bookends.
Bookends, there you go, yes. I'm always trying to balance out those bookends because if something's too heavy on the left, mentally or psychologically for me, I feel like I'm slipping off the right-hand side of the frame.
Okay, so then here's my last question. I got to see you edit this, and that is, a lot of people, reflections are different. There's an old saying that you don't want your horizon line dead center, except in reflections where then you get symmetry out of it. Your horizon line, meaning where the water really meets the mountains, not the mountains themselves, is below center. But as you edit this, what is your deciding factor on whether or not you're going to leave more of the water in the land or you're going to leave more of the sky to move that horizon line up or down where it's more pleasing to the eye?
Yeah, that's often a struggle of, I guess.
Steve. I know. I made him struggle. He's our guest, and I just made him struggle, and I feel bad about it.
No, it's good because it helps me think my way, and maybe it'll help me with future photos. Ideally, I would have preferred to be higher in elevation, but I physically couldn't stand higher in this case. But if I'd been higher, I could have seen more of the reflection and more of the water beyond these reeds, and that would have made it more visually appealing. And yes, I'm constantly thinking about that rule of never have it cut in half. Well, you can break the rules too. And I would have given more sky to this shot, except for the fact that I wanted that S curve.
Right.
If I had tilted up, there would have only been a little bit of water on the left-hand side, and either Professor maybe it was the architectural professor, used to say, you want your viewer to feel like they can walk right into this scene. And with only having a little bit of water on the left-hand side, I didn't feel like I could flow into the scene, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
so
and go ahead.
On the backhand side of the editing, I didn't reframe it because I guess I had spent so much time on the initial framing.
India November Kilo said in the chat, I've heard of bumpers being described as framing, which is true. It's a frame within a frame in essence. Yeah. Awesome shot.
Nice. Thank you.
Agreed.
And then when it gets to the editing stage,
I say let's go there now.
Oh, cool. Yeah. All right.
I know we didn't test out share your screen, but when you share your screen is now shared. So prepare it.
Yeah. So make sure you don't have anything on there like your phone number and your address and
all your cat pictures.
if you've got a giant Barney desktop and you want to cover that up, you can do that too.
So I should remove this like photo of Adam with all these hearts and like kissy faces all around it.
No, leave that.
I sent that to you for a reason.
Okay. So Adam, how does this work? I know we did it in the past, but I don't.
At the bottom, if you just hit share screen.
In the bottom. Let's see.
If you move your mouse over the Zoom window, there'll be a share screen button at the bottom.
Share screen. Okay.
And you can just share your desktop. Is probably, if you're using Lightroom, it doesn't share the application well.
Yeah, just choose a desktop, and then if you want, watch this. I got you.
Oh, okay. Desktop.
Before you share, I got you.
Connor asked picture of Adam with the hearts and everything. Is he on a bear rug?
You can share it right now, and nobody else can see it other than us, so we can help you get situated.
Okay.
Right, cool.
Do you see what I see?
No, we just see.
I was just gonna do the same thing.
We just see. Did you share a desktop or did you just share the Lightroom app?
I did. Oh, okay. You are screen sharing. I did desktop number 1.
No, that's fine.
Yeah,
that's good.
You should
right
be
now
good
we
then.
see white borders and stuff.
White borders, yes. With a photo. Yes,
Yep.
I just zoomed in. Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Okay, cool. I'm gonna put you back on the internet. You ready? All right, you're up.
Okay, so let's go to fit. Let me bring out the side here. Okay. Okay, so that is the one. All right. Here we go. Sorry, guys. All right, I think I'm back on.
No, you're fine.
Okay, so let me reset all of this
and now
stuff.
we edit.
How do I hide this little screen share thingamajigger? It's kind of.
We don't see it.
Yeah, we don't see
You
it.
don't see it.
No.
Okay, I did. All right, I moved it to the side.
Oh, is it?
All right,
Oh, it
now
was
we're good.
messing you up. I got you.
Yeah, it was messing me up. Okay, so the first step was to merge whatever 5, 7 exposures that were here, and I did it right in Lightroom by highlighting all the
Steve has a
images,
question.
right-clicking.
He's raising his hand.
Yes.
I just have to start with, you're the only person I've seen actually edit on a white background. I know people after editing switch it to white to know what it's going to look like in Instagram. Like what made you choose white for your background?
I think because in my head, whether or not it gets here, I hope everything goes on print, even though nothing does or very little does.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I like white web pages. I think for the most part, we've gotten away from the black, website pages. So I guess, Instagram scrolling, it's a white background. If I print on paper, it's going to be a white background if I'm at it. So maybe that's why. It can mess with my eyes at times, and sometimes I will go in here and, oh, where's my mouse? Why are you being so laggy?
Which is why a lot of people do it at the very end, right before they post it to Instagram, just to check it on a white background.
Yeah, gotcha.
Are you okay with your internet? Are you all right, Kev?
Yeah, is it laggy on your end?
No, it looks
it's looking fine.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay,
it's really crisp. It looks awesome.
Nice. All right. So what I typically do first is I just click the auto button just
Ooh,
to see
we're
where
done.
it's going to take me.
Oh my god!
There's so much in that image.
Do you have a microphone you can drop?
Zoom in on
I
that
can drop my
grass
water
for us.
bottle.
Can we just see the
Yeah.
grass?
So this, unfortunately, is not an image. At least I don't think I did. Oh yeah, I hate Lightroom's zoom feature. I think they really need to change it. So I should have focus stacked because this foreground isn't as crispy as I would like.
Oh God, get out of here, you scientist.
But I do love, yes, I love megapixels and I love pixel peeping. Like for instance, okay, let's get super nitty gritty. Can I go one step farther here? Come on, Lightroom. All right, let's go to 2:1. Let's go 4:1. I hate some of the merging around the mountains here. So when I go to print large, I will actually edit this to look cleaner and smoother.
I don't even know what
Just
you're
to
looking
cue.
at that you don't like.
Okay, let me
Do
back
you, Steve?
out.
No. Well,
Let me go to
no.
2:1.
That little
Okay.
rim?
Yeah, so there's some issues in here that bug me.
Kevin
So
has
just to
special
cue
eyes.
everybody.
Zoom in.
And so-
Zoom in again, closer.
You can also do like the pinch motion on your trackpad.
Ooh,
He's using a Wacom tablet.
Oh, okay.
Ooh, that's nifty. I didn't
learned
know
that
that
this year, not
Lightroom did that
lying at all.
feature.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
learned
So you've got some aberrations making the edge dark.
that.
Yeah,
Special
correct. So
I got you,
that
Envy.
goes into like talking about HDR, which may be too long of a conversation. But yeah, just to cue everybody into how neurotic I get about things. When I know that something does go to a large print, and I hope this does because I love seeing things big. Yeah, usually I click the auto button first just to see what it does. Generally, Lightroom oversaturates things by like cranking that vibrance slider over.
Okay.
So I usually reset that. And I think in this case, you know, the auto feature gets us pretty darn close to the edit that we threw up on the interwebs for this challenge. Then my mind thinks, okay, this sky's not rendering well enough. And with cameras like those pink clouds are really hard to render. So I'm thinking, all right, the exposure for the sky's got to come down. This tonality in here is pretty meh. It's pretty muddy.
Yeah.
I'm cool with the mountains. I like the way that they're looking. There's just enough separation in the shadows. And then I want this fog to stand out more. So that's kind of the thinking in my head. And then I also look and say, ooh, look, my polarizer filter is not wide enough. And so I catch that. So I would bring that into Photoshop to clean up those corners. I always go in and make sure, apparently I didn't do it here, remove chromatic aberrations because I hate chromatic aberrations with a passion. And what are chromatic aberrations?
Get
They
out of
are
here, chromatic
when you
aberrations.
go to high contrast situations, and you see like a red on one side and green line on the other side of like a branch in the sky. Hate that stuff.
Often shows up as purple fringing.
Yep. So
Like your
I
head right
always
now,
check
Steve.
that.
Yes, like my head right now.
Sometimes I check out to see what things are being done for corrections for the distortion of the lens. Sometimes I like the natural look and I like the natural vignette, so I don't always apply that. And then I
But
get
your
to work.
architecture stuff, what do you do on your architecture stuff with the correction?
I usually leave the natural vignettes. And tilt shift lenses don't have profiles built in, which is fascinating. And I understand to a degree why, because when you start shifting up higher,
Right, yeah.
there's a different
How would they make it?
But please just give us at least the center frame. So that's always frustrated
Come on,
me that
Lightroom.
neither Adobe nor DxO nor capture one. They don't do the
Snapseed.
center point of it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll
Good.
just show things out there. But I wish they did. But those tilt shift lenses are usually pretty well corrected for barrel or pincushion distortion.
Right.
So there really isn't a whole lot that's got to be done there. So what I want to do is for my fall landscapes, I've been finding that the Adobe Landscape Profile does better with reds.
What? Yo,
So
I
saw
don't
you
even know
laugh
what those
there.
do. Can you just
He's
school me?
made 2 changes basically.
Yeah.
We're not gonna
So
get anywhere. We're gonna be here for another hour and a half because I just have
Jesus.
questions. What's that do? Teach us. Teach me.
Yeah. So all raw converters are interpreting the raw data differently.
Yeah.
So if you jump down to Adobe Portrait, these are all different ways to interpret the raw file. Actually, I like artistic.
Connor
file.
says 24-hour stream begins now.
Yeah. Well, and you have a lot of these type of profiles in your camera. You can go to a landscape profile. You can
Yeah.
and it's different saturation, different sharpness, but in Lightroom they're presets on steroids. So they're presets at the raw engine conversion level as opposed to
first
at
pass.
the instruction level.
Yes. And they can also be LUTs, which LUT
Right.
stands for lookup table. So you can create LUTs that takes this red and totally shifts it to teal.
Good color choice.
Yeah. So it's a way to adjust the information at the cleanest level.
Wow.
And Lightroom has this little grid over here. And there's many people that make presets that you can do different profiles. You can create your own profiles.
And they're adjustable to a point. So
yeah.
if he clicks one, you have a bar at the top where you can slide it from 100% up or down for how
Yeah.
much of that effect you want or don't want.
Yeah, it's
I don't
just
actually
kind
know
of
if
like
I edit.
That's a great film look like right there.
yeah.
Yeah, that looks cool.
If we can put it in the Instagram realm, like when you click on your different Instagram filters and you tap again, you can also change the like opacity of like how strong the effect is or how weak it is. So let me close
Yo,
this.
MV, if you want, you can download this raw. Just so you know.
All right. So here's another thing that I like to do. If you go down to your calibration, you can adjust your reds. So when you have those crazy pink sunset clouds and they're showing up as yellow or orange, you can take your red primary hue and shift it over, and then you get your nice cotton candy pink sky. You can also play with that saturation there, but I think that that's pretty good. And that is much more like what I remembered it, which in the end doesn't matter because we're creating things today.
I want to see your memory.
I also go in here and I start playing around with the highlights and shadow sliders, but I try not to do too much global editing, which everything underneath basic all the way down to calibration is referred to as a global edit or global adjustment because it affects that thing across the whole image. I like to work with brushes a lot and do selective editing. And the reason is when you start pulling your highlights down or shifting your shadows up, it is affecting things that you may not want them to affect. So let's create a brush here. And the first thing I think that I did with this image was to either pull up the whites or the exposure slider. And I really want to emphasize this fog because when I was standing here in this moment, this fog was far more prominent than what we're seeing in this raw file right now.
Let's import fog. Let's import
What's
more.
that?
Let's just import a layer of fog.
Import a layer of
Yeah,
fog.
just a whole
Yeah.
another image. I feel like that would be so.
Just bumping up the
sacrilegious
whites
what you do.
36 made a huge difference.
Yes. Yep.
Would
And you
do-
can really bring it to whatever level that you want. And then, so I didn't like how it was trailing off over here. That just kind of felt too abrupt. So instead of doing the erase option, which is right here,
Mhm.
normally what I do is I like to bring the density down to 0, which means we're totally going to remove the effect, but I bring the flow down. And I find that this is often a better way to pull back a brush adjustment because I can kind of like
Steve's
fade it in
face.
from the edge.
Steve, you're in the zone just as much as me right now.
Yeah,
just like-
I'm literally about to do that. Get the mic out of the way.
Yeah, it's so good, Kevin. I love learning from you.
Let me do a new one here. So next I want to tackle the
Lost in the sauce. To
the
say the
graph.
Can we
least.
send
Yeah.
you our photos to edit?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I have to turn in 42 a night usually. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
So let's take care of this.
Not a real number.
Man.
We had a heavy frost this morning. This was like the first one this season. So I liked how this really started to create some interesting lines.
You're getting
and
frosty on the
movements in this
photo.
one.
Yeah, it looks great. It's really making it come alive. Really making it come
And
alive.
let me just say, all those times, like in my critique shows, I say it all the time. When I tell people, stop thinking globally. Do global, yes, but selective adjustments. And, I've talked about dodging and burning hands and stuff like that. This is what I'm talking about. Go
There's no
in
hands.
and massage the light of a photo to do the story that you need to tell.
Yeah.
Yo, Steve, you're
Absolutely.
massaging light.
Daily, 3 times a day.
All right, we're gonna end that conversation. Keep going, Kevin.
You're gonna be Twitch safe here.
Quote number 5, put a radial filter on it.
Radial filter is actually like the least used thing that I use, but I was watching
I use
one
it
of
almost every
Greg-
shot.
He's trying to
Nice.
find the burn the hands one.
and so I watched one of Greg Benz's tutorials this morning, and he used it for a tree, and I'm like, damn it, I always forget to use the radial filter. By the way, Greg Benz, Benz, look up his stuff. Phenomenal retoucher. He's got awesome free tutorials, and then he's got a really inexpensive thing called Lumenzia.
Does he have any
which
articles
helps-
on copyright?
On what?
Copyright. I was making a joke about learning off the internet.
Oh, I didn't hear the word you said. I think you.
Oh,
need
I
to
said,
speak
does he have anything on copyright? It was a bad joke. It's okay.
Oh, copyright.
I interrupted you too,
yeah.
so you keep
He
going.
might. Yeah, thanks, you jerk. I can hear you. I put my other earbud in. We're good now. And I don't have my chat window up, so if people are asking questions
Oh,
or
we're siphoning it
comments
in.
or-
You're good. We've gotten you with a few
Okay,
of them.
cool.
don't have to
Let me
worry
turn
about
down
that.
my volume. Okay, so let me jump in here and do another brush. So I feel like this part of the sky is too hot for me right now. So I'm going to clear this out by double tapping
Hot
effect.
exposure wise.
Yes,
Too
hot,
bright?
too bright. Yeah, good point. So I'm bringing the highlights down, and my 2015 laptop is kind of lagging on me right now.
India said he did 3 adjustments to get a better effect than I got after an hour of local adjustments.
Sky edits.
well,
This guy
yeah.
edits.
But hey, man, there were some awesome edits that I looked at, and I was like, dang it, why didn't I do that to my image?
We're gonna go over them after this because we want to hear your thoughts. We'll go over them together.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
So as I was like bringing down the brightness here, I noticed that I was starting to get a transition that I didn't like here. So I dropped the flow on my brush, and think of it, flow for the people that this might be new to. Think of it as like a spray paint can. The closer you are to your canvas, ooh, let me go towards the camera, the thicker the paint gets put on. Whereas the farther away you are, like the longer you sit on it, the thicker you'll see it be.
Got you.
Which is different than
Ready?
density. Density is just like
2, 3.
Oh, sorry.
Nice.
There
No,
we go.
you're good. You got it.
On that one.
I wasn't sure what we were doing either, but he was counting down, and I got excited.
But everybody got it, so that's all. I knew you would.
Yeah, it's the Bezos stuff, you know. It's our Bezos minds. They all think alike.
Nice. Sorry, I got a burp. Excuse me.
Okay.
Welcome
Burps
home.
are
My grandmother says it's okay as long as I cover my mouth and say excuse me.
You are excused. Back to the edits. We got this.
In addition to this section initially being too bright, I also felt like it was lacking color depth. So I want to warm this section up.
So you're adding some yellow to it right now.
Yes. So I pulled up the temperature slider to add a little bit of yellow, and it didn't feel like it was enough. So let's bring it in there.
Trying to get that peaking sun.
Yeah, and then let's bring the flow down. Oh, the flow was down. That's why. All right. So let's bring the flow down.
That spray paint can closer.
Yeah.
Closer.
Let's just kind of feather this out into the blue. I don't want to like totally overpower the blue. I want to keep some coolness in there. Yeah, so that's looking a little better. The other thing that I've been doing lately, especially if I'm doing HDR to merge images, I don't like a really crunchy sky. I like softer. And what do I mean by crunchy? Like this cloud is feeling pretty dark to me. It probably wasn't that dark when I was standing there. So I like to take the clarity slider lately and like pull this to the left. I haven't tried this yet on this image, so we'll see if I'm just talking.
Yeah, you pulled down that mid contrast just now.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
And my flow is too low. I'm not paying attention to myself right now. Oop,
it's okay. Streaming. There's a lot going on. And we're talking to you while you're editing. We've entered your workshop. We've entered your office. It's not normal.
So I will turn this. Oop, I didn't want to get into the pinks, but we got into it. Okay. So if you take a look, I'm going to hit the H key to hide those stupid little buttons. I'm now going to delete the effect. And notice how dark that cloud was before. I'm going to pull this back by hitting Command Z.
Wow.
I like that softer looking cloud now.
Yeah, that's nice.
And that to me looks a bit more realistic. And Steve, you touched on earlier people saying that they hate HDR. And what I just did there was to reduce some of that hatred of HDR, of like things looking too crunchy. And that cloud was just looking a bit too crunchy. So let's do a quick HDR talk. I'll try and make this less than 2 minutes. When you're doing overexposed, middle exposure, underexposure, at some point that software is overlapping tones that wouldn't have overlapped in real life.
Okay.
And that's what was happening in that cloud, is it was making it darker than some of the foreground. And psychologically or subconsciously we might pick up on that and
like
say
something might look off.
Yeah, something looks off.
That's one of those things where you look at it and you go, I don't know what it is. It just doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see the before and after because you've done so many incremental things that I kind of understand and can see.
Yeah.
And I know big picture, like they're gonna be bigger than the parts. What is it? What's the term? The bigger than the sum of the parts. I don't know. Anyway, it's gonna be awesome, and I'm excited to see
Yeah.
it.
All right. I want to create a little more separation in these mountains. I'm going to first try using the shadow adjustment slider on a brush, which sometimes can work, but sometimes it lightens things up too much. So when you get into an area that's already deep into the shadows, or uh, deep into the highlights or strongly into the highlights, you've got to play around with the white point and the black point as well. So I might rake this shadow section pretty far to the right, and then I might come back with the blacks to get it back to the point. And if I toggle this on and off, you can see that there's just a little bit more separation in those mountains now.
Yeah.
And yet they still feel like they're the same tonality. They might be a bit brighter than they originally were. But I also use sometimes the clarity slider, but sometimes the dehaze. Dehaze will adjust your colors a bit. So that's something you have to watch out for. But
Didn't know that.
for the most part, this image might be pretty much where it's at. Although now that I'm looking at it, it's probably a bit more.
I like that
Wait,
line right
there's
there.
more.
Like,
That line right there is the line that we all. I feel like it's so familiar for all of us. Well, now that I've shut my eyes a few times, this thing over here. What do you see? What do you see? Talk to us.
It's feeling more contrasty. Like,
yeah,
this down here is feeling a bit dark. This is feeling a bit dark. And I don't. By the way, my room right now
is
to
red.
get this sweet red light. It's way darker than I normally have it, so that might be.
I will tell you,
off.
to me, that looks. It does not look that dark in the bottom or upper or mid right. It looks really good to me.
It looks pretty good.
Okay, sweet. We'll leave it at that then. But sometimes I like to make water stand out a bit more, so I might pull up the exposure. Actually, I don't know why I pulled the exposure. I love playing using the white slider instead of the exposure.
Whites is great.
It's a
I do
great
the same with
way,
highlights.
Nice. It's a great way to add in contrast and separate those tones. And let's come on, mouse. I know you want to work. Maybe it's my Wacom tablet. What am I doing here? I lost my train of focus.
You were going to Photoshop an alien into the picture.
Yes.
Contrast.
Actually, so one of the edits, the guy that does, I shouldn't say guy because I didn't check that out.
That's okay.
For some reason in my mind, the person, yes, the person that does the circular, like the crazy landscapes.
Nate Hill.
Nate, he's here.
Alien. Yeah. Hey, Nate. Love that. Totally threw me for a loop. I was
Isn't
like,
his stuff crazy? He's from Australia.
And then I was like, oh, snap. That is my image that he warped into this cool thing. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, dude. He is on another level.
And he's quick at it, too. And he uses his iPad for a lot of it. He'll offload an image to his iPad and then bring it back.
Yeah, we had a photo battle on here once, and it was him versus another Nate.
We should do that again.
I know. I was thinking of having it was just hard to moderate, but I do like doing it. We should do it. It's
okay,
fun.
so I probably won't go into it for this image, but this guy right here bugs the crap out of me. So after I'm at a good point with an image,
I would go in there until you just did that. Now I can't not see it.
Yes.
Yeah, what is that? It's a mistake?
No, my whole life is a mistake, Adam.
We could talk about that after stream, but
yeah, I literally don't know what's going on here, but there must have been some sort of just I don't know,
ripples or something.
Yeah.
I think it's a Loch Ness
maybe
monster.
This happened in the HDR merge where it pulled from
Kevin
one
roasting
exposure,
himself.
but not the other exposure. Yeah, I constantly go through and look for things that annoy me, like this guy
It
right
looks like
here.
Mickey Mouse. It looks like an upside down Mickey Mouse.
Yeah, it does.
MICKEY MOUSE.
I think it's a really good thing when you're editing your images and you're like, oh, this looks great. Put it away for a day. Like go do other things, pull up your image. And for myself, what I often find is I'm like, oh, that image is kind of flat still. Or, ooh, I way overcooked
What's
that image.
serious question? I ran into this working with a creative. We had to get his images in like the next day. And he was like, part of my creative process is just that. I wait a day and then I look at the images again. Well, I can't do my creative process if you have these turn-in deadlines. And we were like, you're right, but we need to meet these deadlines. What do you think is a good way for somebody to speed up that process? Would you suggest going for a walk or looking at something else? Do you know what I mean? Like, what's another way to refresh that doesn't involve 24 hours?
Yeah.
If you know of any.
Oh, sorry. I thought Steve was going to go there. Yeah. I think
we're
what you
excited to
said,
listen.
Adam, are great things.
Yeah.
Get out of your house, like go for a walk, like stop looking at a monitor.
Mm-hmm.
And if your deadline is even tighter, like it's an hour, instead of like later on that day, just do different things. Definitely get outside if you can. Pandemic,
Yeah, right.
you know, foregone. Get away from looking at monitors. That's the biggest thing I think in general.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have prints up on your wall, look at entirely different things and then come back to your work.
Refresh your mental palette, in other words.
Yeah.
My palette needs refreshing.
Yeah.
Yes,
Can you do a before and after on this with the backslash key?
Let's do that. Let me hide that. I feel like that wasn't our before though.
No.
No.
How about duplicate it and
if you duplicate,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, you can just go to history and go back, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it goes back to
and you can also set up histories. So can I right click this? Okay. So there's a part in Lightroom where you can set a specific history state to be your before.
Okay.
So let's
yes, there is. You'd have to do it in the middle somewhere. Like if you did it in the middle, you could.
Okay. So let me click on reset settings. So that's where we started.
And now undo that. You can just hit undo it. It should do it.
Oof.
Wow. Wow.
You cheated.
So
did you Photoshop
so good.
This?
Did you Photoshop this? Yeah.
Is this Photoshop?
You have such a great camera. It takes such great
pictures.
Wow. Can you tell me what camera you got? Because I want to take that picture.
Yeah. I want to take pictures like you with your camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, how much does the lens cost?
This is like 1,300. I think Sony's 24 to 105, which, by the way, I think it's pretty exceptional for being a zoom lens.
For being a zoom lens, I agree.
Wow. Very
but
nicely done.
To me, and maybe I did capture a different, maybe I did stack the focus, but these trees are rendering soft back here. Which might be okay because they're not the focal point, but yeah, they're getting a bit soft up here. But
God damn it.
Yeah. So sometimes if I'm in a rush and I'm like, look, I don't have time to focus stack because the light's changing or whatever, either focus on the literal or the figurative focus of the image, the thing that you think is going to be most important. But if there isn't something like that, like if your primary thing is the sky, if I think that an image is going to be printed on somebody's wall, I will often focus somewhere near the foreground, because when you think about the height that we hang images on a wall, usually it's above our eye line. And if your foreground is very in focus and sharp, that's usually where somebody's eye might be. I'm not explaining this well. Like if I focused on the uppermost part up here, and that was the thing, that might be way above where their eye can get to. So sometimes if I'm in a situation
Mm-hmm.
like what I did here was, I'm pretty sure I focused somewhere on the foreground. Or maybe it focused on this guy. That looks like the crispiest spot. I don't know where I went with that, or if that made sense.
You're good.
Made sense to me.
We're chilling. But we
Cool.
can. Are you? Thank you for doing the edit live for us. And you did
Yeah.
it in 30 minutes.
Oh, sweet.
While getting a lot
mean-
of talking in. That's a talent.
And let me just do this really quick while we're here, because you did what I preach all the time. Can you go ahead and stop your
Thanks,
screen share?
Yes.
Thanks for everybody for saying thank you.
Oh, sweet. Yeah.
That was literally a master class
Yeah, that was sweet.
in editing.
Thank you.
And I had mentioned this earlier and I finally found it, but this is what classic photos looked like. There we go.
Absolutely.
So this is the
I
classic
love
James Dean photo. And let me go out of reader mode because it'll be easier to zoom in. There we go. And you can see, I know I got it. You can see all the edits that they marked from the original image on the left to the image on the right. Here is the Muhammad Ali one I talked about, where they're even marking his knuckles.
I wish they would show the before and the after, not just the film with the marks on it.
Well, the one on the left is the before.
I know, but do you know what I'm saying? I wish they would show it without the marks, but I get it.
Yes. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Yeah, that would be nice. You know, here's classic Martin Luther King moment. But this just goes to show you the Katharine Hepburn classic shot. Look at the differences in the door.
Person.
So you can really see they got very, very localized on dodging and burning and bringing everything out. It is amazing what they used to do.
So if you look closely under that for everybody, if you go home and look at this, where it's saying like the 3s and 5s, those were different contrast filters that you would put in front of the or between the enlarger and the where your print was. I love these, Steve. I'm glad you found these. And
it's photo. I mean, yes. Was it photoshopped? Yes, it was photoshopped back in the film
Photoshop
days.
is derived from film
in the dark room.
Yeah.
It's the dark room. And really, that's when you start talking photojournalism. That's what people are talking about is you can generally in photojournalism do anything that was allowed in the traditional darkroom, dodging, burning, white balance, things like that.
Cropping. Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because we had brought it up before.
Steve.
I love that edit. Great job.
You can keep sharing, Steve, because we're going to do the submissions. So while we go through these, Kevin, like obviously let us know if anything sticks out to you, but overall, like what did you learn from seeing other people edit your image? Was there anything that surprised you or like that really, I don't know, overall where you're like, wow, I never even thought of that?
Yeah, there was one that went towards a really warm tone over the whole image.
I've got that one. I saw that one. I'll pull it up. This black and white I actually really liked.
That was cool. Good job, Svenja.
Nice. And I apologize. I haven't gone through all of the tags.
Dude, we're about to go through them all. You're good.
All the versions.
Interesting.
Sweet.
That's kind of close to your end result.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
Somebody else is using their tag for a strawberry photo. It's Connor.
Nice.
Connor, nice. Did a black and white version too.
Yeah, guys, thank you for all your edits.
This was interesting.
Dude, Kevin, this guy enters every week and calls them remixes, and I love it. He's never come to chat, but he always does a remix, and it's always something crazy.
That's sweet. Yeah,
there we go.
This one we talked about. This is Nate, right?
Yeah.
this one threw me for a loop. So I think in Instagram it showed up, and he did like a straight edit, and I saw that there was like a slidey thing over to the next image, and I was like, oh, that's interesting that he, took somebody else's totally different image and included it in his post. And then I started looking at the details, and I was like, oh snap, he like that's my image that he warped around.
That's
Because
me.
I noticed like what. Oh, sweet.
And the grass
That's
almost
cool.
ends up looking like roots.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. It works really well with your image. Every night is emo night. I think that's
Nice.
That's Cole.
That's in chat. That's what you call him. And I don't want
And
to be a loner.
by the way,
Funny.
guys, if we go over your image and I don't say anything, it doesn't mean that I don't like it or whatever.
Oh, they
I
don't. We're just taking
I'm
it in.
constantly like analyzing, and I forget to talk. So
No,
please don't take that as a
You know what's
dig.
interesting on this
You're
one
just
from
appreciating it, right? That's all.
Svenja?
Yeah, absolutely.
When you open it, they've made it to portrait orientation. But I've got to say, I actually really like the black and white treatment, but I like it better in this orientation.
Yeah, it looks cool.
For that particular effect. Here's some really nice ones from Meg.
And to expand upon what I just said about, like, if I don't make a comment, so my favorite client, she would show me images, and if I didn't say something or make a sound within like the first half a second, she would say, "Oh, you don't like this," and it was kind of in a joking way, but so my default response whenever she would show me something, I would say, ooh, and we turned it into like a humorous point, but it allowed me enough time, and she would laugh when I would do that, but it
Just
would
to
allow me
communicate
enough
that you're
time to
thinking.
like analyze it. Yes, exactly.
I'm gonna put a tornado in it.
Oh, what? Yeah. So
What was that,
those
Steve?
clouds are pretty sweet.
That was Meg.
I'm gonna put a tornado in it.
As one does.
Yeah, you get
Nice.
freaky in there. Oh, Robbie. Robbie got rid of the pure blacks and made it a little faded.
Yeah. Added a
Liking that
moon.
look. Ooh.
Added a couple of moons.
Oh, Kate's in chat. What's up? Again, this looks like a fantasy something. Very different than your editing style, Kevin. Photoshopping
Yeah.
anything in seems like the last thing you
A lot of people are going for this kind of old faded film look, and it actually works. The conceptually, that faded look works really well with this. And then here's one that's really detailed out.
We got you, India. We'll get to Instagram after this.
Nice.
Don't worry. As long as you tagged us. What up, Kate? Nice
There's
edit.
Christians. They're in the chat.
What's up, Christian? Christian's from Ecuador. It's freaking cool.
Yeah. That is
Odin.
cool that
This is-
like so many
nice.
people from all over the globe.
Oh,
Which
Odin
is
went
pretty
with
cool
a
group.
frame. And
Why Kate's a little newer. We're happy to have you. Thank you for joining us and editing.
oh, this is an interesting one. This is Andrea.
Oh, they got rid of your sky.
Oh, went with the Astro. Nice. I like the, in addition to dropping in the stars, they matched the
Did they do the reflection?
the blue tone throughout the whole thing.
And
Yeah.
and Adam's right. They even got the stars into the reflection,
Oh yeah, they did.
Nice.
which
That's
is a
pretty cool.
detail a lot of people would miss.
Wow, that was
Yeah.
actually really good.
Tricky.
Beautiful versus toxic. My interpretations. One again, thank you for the beautiful photo. Jesus Christ.
That's
some,
the
That's some
toxic.
textures. Yeah. That's awesome.
Oh, interesting. They cropped all the
What up,
foreground
Chuck?
out.
Hello from Mexico, says Chuck.
I was trying to come up with a fun joke for cropping out like the essentials of my life, but
Here's
I
Jeremy.
fell flat.
Jeremy in chat. Jeremy's one of our mods.
Ooh,
Super warm.
nice. I like
Jeremy
that warm,
is-
cool play.
Yeah, thank you, Jeremy, for doing everything you do. That's awesome, YK. Thanks for joining our Discord, too.
Oh, this is interesting.
7 Nightmare, 7 Dream.
Yeah.
Went with a more dreamy kind of feel.
I like that vibe with this photo. It's kind of I think
it really
that
does. It really
the
works.
mist really inspired people's vibe, I feel like.
Oh,
Mist is really
added lens
cool.
flares and texture.
Ooh.
Kaylee. Real Kales.
Kevin, is one of your lights go out, and that means that it's almost time to leave, and your other light will go out, and then you have to leave?
Oh, you know what that is? That's one of those loom cubes. It's
It died.
I could probably where's my battery pack? I
got one
power it
right
up
here.
from USB.
That's what I'm
Yeah,
using
just
for my
throw it through
light.
the monitor. Oh, your loom cube, sweet.
Yeah, look, without it, it looks like this. Then I add it in, bounce it off my wall. It's pretty good.
Oh,
Nice.
They're super nice. They're San Diego
Alyssa.
company. Right? Loom Cube? Yeah.
I think they still are. They transferred ownership and moved up to like the Carlsbad area.
Yeah, they've
and
been
I'm
up
not
there for a
sure
bit.
where they're at right now.
They're still there.
So Jen went with an old light bleed look.
Nice.
Oh, nice, Jen. That is pretty cool. I like the old-fashioned, like not old-fashioned, but like
It works really well with this.
deteriorated. Yeah.
Ooh, look at that. So, Steve, if you could go back to that one that was like a really clean edit, the lower left corner right there. Can I take a look at
Look
that?
how similar that is to what you did.
Yeah. It's the light was really brought up well, and that's a really nice clean edit. I like that.
Oh, I like that. It's
Gotta love black and whites.
Yeah. This shot, by the way, yes, a lot of the black and whites were really, really effective. Oh, totally different.
Sacrificial Pancake is a really funny name.
So let's see here.
Make sure we get India's. It's on Instagram. So if you get the Instagram.
Yeah. Those were the only ones I saw on Instagram.
Let's keep scrolling down.
I
There's
really
more below us.
appreciate
Gotta keep going, Steve.
Whose
Keep
is
going.
this?
like all
more
the
lower.
submissions that came
Oh, here
in
we go.
because it's really awesome to see this and the fact that people, I mean, it's one thing people could download a raw file and just like play with it on their own, but to go to the extra step of posting it and
Dude, yeah, it's awesome. Trying to open up this link.
Mitsu. Yep. Where did you see the one you were looking for, Adam?
India, November. Let's see. They said they put Steve, there's actually the one in the Twitch chat right now. You can open that one up. They didn't use the hashtag, but they respond to the thread, and it's a pretty cool shot. It's
okay.
A Chuck.
Yep. Oh, wait.
And India used the hashtag on Instagram, not the tagged feature, which is fair. So
Yep,
maybe we'll
works for me.
Yeah.
Let's do this one first.
It's pretty cool.
Ooh. See,
I
there's
love
that kind of mystery feel again. I actually like it going super dark.
Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
You know what that reminds me of? Like you're camping and you don't have any lights on.
Thanks, Loot 20.
Yep.
So let me search
also
for
reminds me of?
What's that?
How non-creative I am.
So let me do raw editing challenge, and I'll do the hashtag.
Very moody. It's okay. It's good to identify what you're good at and then do it, and you do that.
Yeah, and I think it kind of plays on the part or the concept of like it's great to look at other people's work, but if you start getting too down, like you can't always compare yourself to
others.
I
like that.
Nice.
Yeah, well, you can't always compare yourself to what?
To everybody, like to other people's work. I fall in that trap a lot of I look at other landscape photographers and I'm like, damn, my stuff sucks because their stuff looks so good. And but so it's a double-edged sword of it's great to look at other people's edits and you get inspired by them. But if you start going too far down that slippery slope, pull back a bit and like just focus on your work. But
No, that makes sense.
yeah,
I like this feel that Brooke got.
And if you
Yeah.
guys are new to the channel and you want us to check out your work on stream, we'll do it. You just have to
Oh,
hit the link
Polaroid effect.
in Discord, and we'll go over it at the end here. But I understand if that's a little nerve-wracking. You don't have to do it. Steve.
Yep.
Thanks for going through all those. Thanks for everybody for being so kind and submitting. And thanks, Kevin, for the Raw. Kevin, you want to check out our
Absolutely.
next week's Raw with us real fast? Because we already have it up.
yeah.
Kind of cool. Steve, you want to pull it up?
Yep.
It's just raweditingchallenge.com.
Let me jump over there, and then I've got
Everybody say thanks to Kevin. You can throw a cheers up if you want. I know it's 400 dust, so if you want to use your dust for Connor's shaved head, that's fine. Oh, cheers to Kevin.
Yeah, definitely do it for Connor's shaved head.
Yeah.
Can you guys see me better now? Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, you're
Threw
good.
up a white
Hold on, let me
screen
down. I'm gonna
behind me.
actually download the raw.
Okay, cool.
Perfect. Or I'll just open the raw. There we go.
Yeah.
Is that Conor McGregor?
Yes,
Yeah,
it
next
is.
week we have Conor McGregor.
Or
Okay.
is that our Connor?
No. That's pretty cool Raw, actually. I like how much room there is to edit. So
Yeah.
next week we have
Nice.
David Fogarty. I think I'm saying that right. And he works with Conor McGregor pretty closely.
Wow,
And-
that's awesome. I'm
Yeah.
definitely jumping in on this.
Yeah, dude. It's going to be a fun one. So you guys, it's a cool shot. It looks like a movie still. So, and if you guys want, like, we're always trying to grow the community. Invite some friends. Invite some people to edit photos with us. Let's get some more people in on the fun. We've got a good group of 20, 30, 35 people here every week, and that's awesome. So if you bring a friend with you, introduce them. We'll look at their portfolio. We'll celebrate them. Every level is welcome.
And
Everybody's welcome.
as of today, we've got 2 recent portfolio shares from the 13th and from today. Did you want to go through those?
Oh yeah, do we? Well, let's. You want to look at them with us, Kevin, or we can let you go. Your choice.
No,
What happened?
hey, I'm good.
All right. Well, it'll take a
yeah.
few minutes. Connor,
I mean,
you want to
we're
throw
like-
them? Let's
Sorry,
see.
go ahead.
No, you're good.
So this one was put in Discord. Sarah M. photo.
So put this week, or
And-
was this one? This is for this week. Okay, cool.
Well, yeah, it was put in on the 13th. So yeah, for this week.
Let's see. What day is it? Oh yeah,
And Sarah on Instagram.
they submitted. They're doing the other challenge, which is our be a photographer challenge, where people take photos. I know that's a black and white. So those are all for the challenge. So thank you for doing the challenge with us. And I really liked actually that photo of them holding their picture up was for the challenge. Do you see it on the right there?
Yep.
That photo they're holding up looks like what's the I was blank on his name. What's the guy who took the big cityscapes that he would like, hose down the streets and stuff? The photographer. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, I love him. I saw him talk once and it was great. But that shot reminds me of some of his work. It's just the colors are so nice. The green and the yellow and the red and the blue. I think it looks cool.
See, what I love
Nice.
about this is it's the same house,
Yeah.
but clearly at different times. So it's
11
almost
years.
like somebody went back. I look at this and I see a story. Somebody went back to their childhood home. They have a picture of the childhood home. They go back now, and there's a patio cover and a fence.
Yeah. It's cool.
Yeah.
I want to
Beautiful
know what
shot.
the person in the photograph is doing. Like, I want to know the story behind that, because
Yeah.
Hard.
it is cool.
But yeah, they're on a path to learning all things about photography, and I love to see them, participating every week and doing, pushing themselves. So I'm excited to
That's
see how they
awesome.
grow and learn.
Creative use of
Oh yeah, that was
your
cool.
gear.
So
Yeah,
thank you so
those-
much, Sarah.
I've seen those. I forget what they're called, but the photo globes or whatever.
Yep.
I've always wanted to get one and play with it.
Now, when we go through these portfolios, are we commenting on photos or Adam or not?
Now we're just saying what's up and just introducing them to
Okay.
the group, like just something basic, because we're not trying to critique them. We don't know where they're at. We just want to say good job and welcome. Well, we can hit up. Let's hit up the other one too, Steve.
Okay.
This is great.
So
Thank you,
here's
Sarah.
the second one, and this was listed. What? Yes. Oh no, today. And this is who is
Whoa. Is that
it?
whoa?
Or whoa, it's so. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yeah,
Who
they
is
might just be sharing their portfolio just to share it in general. They might not be new because they're around for a while. But we'll just go over it anyway. Yeah, that submission I thought was a really cool self-portrait.
Kind of dig that. I
It has their
gotta say.
face in it too. It took me a while to see it, but on the left side you can see their face.
Hmm.
You could.
Faded.
I look at shots like this and I think it would be really fun to name it.
Yeah.
To come up with a name for that shot.
I'm trying to find the name of a photographer I love.
And then at this one, actually, this particular profile had a link. And when I went to it, it had a link to their actual website, which is this.
Oh, cool. Yeah, they join us a lot, actually. It's great work. Yeah, like they're very active and very nice person too. So thank you for everything you contribute. Whoa, I forget your real name. I always forget it, and I apologize.
Ooh, pretty.
I don't know how you guys keep track of like so many people that I know it's like on a weekly basis, but you guys have said, oh, you know, so such and such username.
We're 6 months
like,
in.
Oh, that's so and so.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, my
I don't
memory's
always
horrible.
I don't always remember the connection.
Oh, so what I can do is, well, Kevin, to give you a little cheat is I can click on their name and see their chat history, so I can see like everything they've said and kind of how long they've been here and stuff and what they've been up to. So
also, that's it for the portfolio shares.
Well, thank you guys so much. So the other thing we're just gonna raid a channel then. Is there anybody streaming that's cool that's a photographer? You guys see anybody? Let's see. Photography. I don't know.
And to everybody, real quick before we jump,
yeah.
Thank you so much. As always, every single week you guys are here. Tell your friends. Let's build this thing up because this is just fun and today was just a masterclass. I loved it,
dude. Yeah, Kevin.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll get you on stream more.
All right.
We appreciate it so much.
I've got more landscapes.
Oh wait, we have one more in Discord. Connor says
Kevin would be. You know what? I've never done real estate or architecture type stuff. I should get Kevin on behind the shot.
Wait, yeah, you should. Kevin, you would love it. Steve, can we get the last one in Discord real fast? Why Kate just put theirs in there? Let's check it out.
Yeah, just put one. Yes,
they're here.
I definitely can. It's what
Thanks for sticking around with us, Kev. This will give me time to look up Twitch channels.
Here we go. Thank you for sharing that, Kate.
Whoops, I'm covering it up.
Or Caitlin.
Caitlin. Ooh, there's more to the name. Sorry if audio comes through here for a sec. Okay.
I'm just going to say, if you're going to capture an expression on a child's face, that's a great expression.
Oh, you did it. Well, that's some cool work. That's creative. Kind of scary.
Yeah. That reminds me of Donnie Darko. I love that.
Oh, God, that movie's good.
I've never seen it.
You should see it.
Ooh.
Looks like I've got work.
Especially, this is a perfect season to watch it. I mean, it's not Halloween themed, but I guess it kind of fits in the realm loosely.
Some very unique work.
I'm so not creative.
Oh, my audio's coming through. I'm sorry.
Nice.
I'm just looking for people to rate. Yeah, this.
I mean,
wow,
that's creative,
cool.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's pretty darn creative.
Sorry, my audio comes through, guys. I'm trying. I can't find any photographers that are streaming. Everybody's streaming, but
So
playing
that's
games.
when you see Kate in the why Kate in the chat.
This is their work.
That's why Kate. Go follow her, Caitlin P. McCann.
They follow you, Steve. Look at them go.
Say that again.
They follow you.
So,
they
do you
follow
guys
you.
have like a list thrown up anywhere for like your regular people where everybody could throw up their socials or their websites? And
it's in Discord.
we use Discord. Do you know what Discord is?
No.
Well, you know Slack, right?
I've heard of these things.
Slack is like what they use internally at companies. Discord is like more of a public thing. We'll give you a little walkthrough of Discord, but we do have like a place where everybody kind of hangs out, and it's a pretty casual Discord. Like some Discords, people talk on there all the time. People probably check in twice a week on Discord, hang out. It's just like a good little check-in area. But it's in the chat. I'll send it to you afterwards and kind of give you a walkthrough how it works.
Cool.
But yeah, thank you guys so much. Have a good one. We'll get some more photography channels to rate in the future, but we're just going to call it today. And thank you again, Kevin and Steve.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. Thank you guys so much. And Steve, it was great to meet you.
And stay connected, Kevin, as we go offline.
Okay, sounds good.
And Connor, get ready to shave your head. All right, peace.